Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to My Chamber TV. This is the Tarpon Springs edition, and you know what? Russ. G's not here today. I got Russ.
She's on special assignment.
Oh, yeah, really cool special assignment.
Right.
Great lineup.
Yeah.
Great lineup.
We got some great guests today.
I know.
Lots of fun things coming up in our community.
Yep. So we're going to start off here with John and Aneta, and you are with the St. Ignatius of Antioch?
Knights of Columbus.
Knights of Columbus.
Okay, yes. And what we're doing is we are making a big effort to help the Ukrainian refugees
Okay.
that are in Pinellas County. And the Knights of Columbus at St. Ignatius, we had done some inquiry, and I had inquired with Aneta about coming in and talking to us because she was from Poland, and Poland has a very distinct interest in what's happening in Ukraine.
Right.
And Aneta brought some Ukrainian women in, and their story was so great, okay, that the guys at one of our Knights of Columbus meetings, the guys at the meeting didn't want to stop listening to them.
Right.
It's a story of peril, and it's a story of help. And so what we have tried to do is channel some money to help these refugees. They're here.
Okay.
They're here.
That was my next question. Are you sending the money over, or are you literally helping the people that are already here?
Okay, let me see if I can answer that, okay? Because it's a twofold question. We at our council at St. Ignatius, okay, we are helping people here in our county. We have given them money already, and they have used that money. What was it? The refrigerator. They purchased a refrigerator for a Ukrainian refugee family. Okay. Now, we are also sending money from our local council here to the Knights of Columbus Supreme in Connecticut, who has given to the Ukraine-Poland area $18 million.
Whoa. Wow. Nice.
Okay. And we are both operating under the rule that whatever monies that we are donated to us, whatever monies we earn, then those monies, the net proceeds from those monies, will go to the refugees. There's no proceeds that will be held by either the Knights of Columbus or the Polish school. And I might, Aneta, can you explain the Polish school so that they know why we're working together?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about it.
Yes.
So we're working together on this.
Yes, and it's a great collaboration. And then when John told me about that he would like to do that, of course I said, absolutely, we want to jump in and help because, as he mentioned, I am from Poland. Poland is a direct neighbor of Ukraine, and most of the refugees that are fleeing Ukraine are coming to Poland.
Right.
And Polish families have been wonderful by opening their homes and taking them in. They just have the way that they handle the refugee problem is just incredible. So, when I talk to my family in Poland, to my friends in Poland, everybody are trying to help Ukrainians. So same thing here. So Polish school is now one of the ministries of the St. Ignatius. We teach Polish language, culture, geography, history, and we also have faith formation classes. So that's what we do here at St. Ignatius. And we have a great community of Polish people. And also here, Polish community and Ukrainian community are very close together. So then as the Ukrainians start coming here to Florida, and we started, we wanted to get involved and help them as well. So we kind of split responsibilities here. Knights of Columbus is doing most of the advertising. They're doing a lot of the work like that, and then we will provide the dinner. So we are very excited to invite everyone for the authentic Polish food, authentic homemade Polish pierogi made by moms from Polish school.
Very good.
Okay, well, let's talk about the event. Now, this is August 26th, am I
It
correct?
is August 26th.
5 to 8 p.m. And where is this going to be located?
It will be located at the St. Ignatius Church Hall
Okay.
on Tarpon Avenue. It's, was it 715 East Orange Street, Tarpon Springs.
Right.
Right behind
Right behind the
the
church?
Walmart.
Oh, yeah, Walmart, yeah.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, it's the big church right behind the Walmart.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a great event. We're hoping to raise a good amount of money. I can tell you this, that the Polish ladies, the Polish women who are going to do the cooking, they all know how to cook very well, okay? And if you'll see the signs back here, okay, this sign here is very good because it explains everything. If you were interested in buying tickets, you'll see one of these signs or get a flyer. You can put your phone on the QR code and
Yeah,
it'll take us right in.
our tech is going to show that. Right there it is.
There it
That's
is.
for everybody to see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
you can go right into that, and it'll take you to the website, and you can buy tickets for in-house. You can buy tickets and have takeout, and it will be pierogies. And Aneta, what about these pierogies?
well, pierogies are going to be potato and cheese. They're also called Ukrainian pierogies. How appropriate. I also wanted to mention, once you scan the QR code, there's also option to donate. I understand that not everyone will be able to come out, but you can always donate for this great cause.
That was my next question, is that if I can't make it,
Yes.
can I do a donation?
Yes, there is a rolling banner on top of this page once you scan the QR code, and you can choose and donate. Also, if anybody, any of the wonderful Tarpon Springs businesses would like to become our sponsor, we are welcome that also. That would be wonderful. I know that Knights of Columbus are actively searching for sponsors of that
sponsors.
event also.
We do have a couple of restaurants that are now looking at putting a sponsor sheet on their tables where they will offer a dessert, okay, and then a part of the dessert cost,
The proceeds.
Right.
yeah, would go back to the fundraiser.
So we've got a little bit of time. What are some of the needs? Because everybody's like, well, I want to give money, but what am I giving money for?
Right.
So let's talk about what
Yeah,
the needs
you
are.
had mentioned beforehand that they're even needing furniture as well. There's furniture
Exactly.
departments.
So the way that Ukrainian people can come here to United States is they have to be sponsored by an American, and then so once they come here, they are awaiting work visas, so they can't work. So those families, then they have to think of how they're going to provide for them, right?
Right.
So the Epiphany of Our Lord Ukrainian Church are having kind of, they are inviting all these people to come and say, what are your needs? What is it that you need right now? This is for refugees and their sponsors,
Okay.
to kind of see how what those people need. So they need apartments, they need to furnish those apartments. So they frequently looking for even used furniture and things of that nature. But what they need food, they need everything. Those are mostly women with children, because men cannot leave Ukraine. They have to stay and fight for the country. So those are women with children, and those children need to go to school. So right now, they organizing, the Ukrainian church is organizing for backpacks for those kids. So everything you would think a family needs, they need everything, really.
Everything from
From
the start.
scratch. So
Everything.
some of those people, come with some reserve of money, and some of them didn't. They brought
Right.
their ticket and they're here, right? So, so that's why I feel, and myself as an immigrant, I can feel for that too. But I never had to escape war and see that and experience horrible things as they did. So I really feel that is somebody that we need to help,
Okay. Now, is there a waiting list for them to come over now? Is that what it is? Is that how it works?
Well, the thing is that the immigration process is always very difficult, right? So then once somebody finds a sponsor, then then they come here. Sometimes the difficulty is to finding sponsors. That's why most of the Ukrainians don't come to United States. They come to countries in Europe, like Poland, Germany, and different countries. But some of them who maybe have a connection to someone here, I personally have friends who, sponsor Ukrainian families. So once you find somebody like that, then they can come here. But then once they come here and they're waiting for all their paperwork, like what next, right?
Right.
Like you have to somehow figure out what to do.
Wow. It's almost, it's heartbreaking.
Right.
Yes, it is.
So,
Yes.
so let's talk about the event. So there's going to be food. What all's going to be there?
Well, we're going to have, we're going to serve the Polish meal. Okay?
Which includes pierogi, sausages, Polish kielbasa, sauerkraut, rye bread, Polish pastry. We're also going to have a live entertainment. One of
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
going
I
to
didn't mention that on here. Right?
We're gonna- a singer.
Yeah, we're going to have a Polish singer.
Yeah.
We actually did this very similar event at Polish Center of John Paul in Clearwater. And Roxana, who will be singing here, she also sang at that event. And we were very successful with raising a lot of money too.
Sounds like it could be a nice cultural event for your family.
Well, if you've never had real Polish food, and you heard the Polish music, I mean, it's kind of it's a full immersive deal,
There
right?
you go. There you
Dancing,
go.
Polish dancing, because I don't dance.
Yeah, and all of it benefits the Ukrainian refugees. So.
Exactly.
It all benefits the Ukrainian refugees. And as Aneta was saying, if you want to donate, just go to Knights of Columbus Ignatius.org. And at the top of the page, there'll be a banner up there. Okay, it's a well-done website. So if you go in there, you can either donate money or you can buy dinners. And the money will go to help the Ukrainian refugees here. And we keep trying. We keep working on this.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we'll help get the word out. So, hey, look, stick around. We've got more guests coming up. I really think if you're looking for a night out and you want to get behind a great cause, this is a great cause.
Yes. And a
great cultural experience at the same time.
Exactly. You know what? Or if you can't make it, look, just go hit the QR code. We've seen it. We've had it up. Go donate, and you know what? Make yourself feel better. Help some lives out. It'll be all good. We'll be right back after these messages. Hey everybody, and we are back, My Chamber TV Tarpon Springs edition, and we're actually in the studio today. We're not on site.
So now we were on site today for this one.
We could have been.
Yeah, I
We
would have
should.
loved it.
We like on the river,
Right.
somewhere that'd have been awesome.
Right,
So speaking of the river, we have river wild kayaking.
Right. I'm excited about this guest here.
Austin Wood.
Hello.
Now he's got a little bit of an accent. Just warning
You might have
now.
detected that.
You might a little bit. So Austin, tell us about river wild kayaking.
So basically we do guided eco tours of Anklet River. We leave from the sponge docks, just the other side of Pinellas Avenue. And we go upriver, so a lot of the touristy things kind of go out to the quay, but we spend our time in the mangroves, wildlife spotting, talking about the ecosystems. It's very educational, which people sometimes will book the tour for that reason because they'll read our reviews, but the people that don't know, it's not a lecture, but I talk a lot about what's happening out there, and they're really happy with kind of that experience. There's loads to learn, even for locals. There's so much about the river. There's so much history about the river too, that I like to pass people. So it's a 2-hour guided tour of kind of the mangrove area of Anklet River.
I was worried if he's going to say a 3-hour tour, and I'm like, I ain't going.
Not on a boat, right?
Not on a boat.
2 hours is pretty much the max you can sit on a kayak, I think. But certainly for people that don't do it daily.
Are they sit-ins or sit-ons?
They sit on.
Okay,
They
nice.
sit on.
That's way more comfortable.
Yeah, it is. And the river where we kayak is perfect for beginners. There's no kind of wave systems at all. Most of the boat traffic is like the sponge docks and then towards the Gulf. Our side of the river is very, very quiet, very peaceful, very relaxed, shielded from the wind. It's a really good paddle for beginners that are just kind of new to kayaking. Yeah.
And you just show them all the bird life,
Everything.
animal life.
Yeah. So we've been paddling now for just over a month, and basically, you name it, we've seen it, which is it's blown me away. The amount of life on that river is incredible.
What's some of the ones that you've really enjoyed?
We've seen manatees, which is amazing. During the summer, obviously, the manatees spread out. You'll see them on the beaches and in the rivers and also in the springs. Manatee season, if you want to go see manatees, is during the winter. That's when people come down to see manatees. So we're really fortunate to see them in the summer because the water's so warm they can be everywhere. So every time you see a manatee in the summer, it's kind of special and unique. So we've had a couple manatee encounters, which was amazing. One guest was almost knocked off her kayak, which was pretty cool, and she wasn't expecting it at all. Dolphins, spoonbills. The spoonbills are amazing. Loads and loads of birds. There's bats, which we get lucky to see. Even during the day, there's a bridge we paddle under that the bats live in, I guess, in like the cavity of the concrete. But we've paddled under that bridge a couple of times and seen the bats actually outside, which is really cool to see. So yeah, we've pretty much seen like the main things that you'd want to see, and then every Florida bird you could really name, we've seen it, which is incredible as well.
So what is it in detail? Do I call you guys? Do I set it up? Do I have to go book it? Or do you walk on going, hey, by any chance you got a free kayak?
So right now it's really by like appointment only.
Okay.
That will change as we get into season. There will be somebody there that can literally just take bookings when people walk up. But yeah, if you just go to our website, you can basically, the booking system is so good. You'll choose when you want to book your tour, whether you want a single, if you want tandem, how many people are going, and that's it. Very simple. You'll get a confirmation email with what to bring, what not to bring, that sort of stuff. We provide the kayaks, the paddles, the life jackets. I've been asked multiple times if people can bring their own kayaks. That's fine. You can if you want to. We obviously supply the kayak, but if people are more comfortable in their own, they can bring their own. But it's guided tours only, so we don't do rentals or anything like that. It's only guided tours. We do 3 a day, every day. The 9:30 ones, because it's a little bit cooler in the morning, they do kind of book up pretty quickly. But yeah, it's really simple. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on.
Are you going to get into the evening side as well?
Yeah. So
depending on the tide.
Yeah. So it's funny you should mention the tide. So every time we do a tour, it's different based on the tide. So some of the mangrove channels we can get through at high tide. Sometimes we can't at low tide. So the tour does vary quite a lot depending on that tide time. And people ask me all the time, are you more likely to see wildlife at different times of the day, different tides? And I would have assumed that would have had an impact, but really on this river, in this area, it hasn't really made too much of a difference as to what we're going to see, which is really cool for me, certainly, because I get to be there all the time and I get to see everything, which
Right.
is incredible. But yes, at some point we will be doing nighttime kayaking, or at least evening, kind of launching at sunset and then moving off. One of my favorite things is astronomy, so I'll get to incorporate that into it too, which,
Oh, that's
which I'm
nice,
excited
yeah.
about. Yeah, it's a great river. I'm very, very excited to be there. Yeah.
How many people do you usually take on a tour?
Oh, that's a great question. So maximum 10.
So nice, small
Small
intimate-
groups is really, really important for us. Sometimes when you can go on a guided tour, certainly on kayaks, there can be almost too many boats, too many people. So yeah, maximum of 10, which could only be if we're in tandems. That's only really 5 boats. So it's low numbers, quite intimate. We like to get up close to things. The channels that we go through, they're really small. So I didn't want to lead 20 people through those channels because it's quite easy to get lost in the mangroves. So small groups is good. People enjoy it more. And when it's a small group too, you kind of get to know the other people in the group, which adds to the experience as well.
So it's all, I have a business, I want to do a corporate thing for my, as long as I keep it under 10.
You're fine, yeah, absolutely. And actually, so each tour is $50 per person, but we book private tours for $350. So if you're over that 7 person, then you'll save some money doing a private tour and just booking it direct with me.
Now, me as a kayaker, say I don't want to bring mine, but what do I need to bring to the table when I show up?
Water is the main thing. Loads of water, especially in the summer. There's no relief at all. There is some shade as we go through the mangrove channels, but most of the time you're in the sun. Sometimes later in the day we get lucky and there's some cloud. Sunscreen and water is pretty much it. We don't provide any food, but you're only on the kayak for a couple hours, so you should be fine. You will get wet. We sit on kayaks. So just generally as you're paddling, you'll get drips from the kayaks. There is a beach kind of in the middle of the tour that some people like to get out on, and we can do that. A lot of people will get a little bit warm. They might be from an area that's not Florida, not used to the summer, so they might want to be in the water. So that's fine. But yeah, you'll get a little bit wet. Sunscreen, water's the main thing. Lots and lots of drinking water. Yeah, absolutely. It's crucial.
Yeah, I'd have to, his shirt, I'd have to find a pair of pants like that and a big old massive hat because I walk out and I get burnt like that.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
it's incredible. I won't show off my tan lines, but I've got some ridiculous
I'm looking at his legs there. I'm like, not that I'm looking at his legs. Let's not go there. But I'm like, that dude, you are in the sun all the time.
Which I really enjoy. A lot of people, we were talking about it, a lot of people think I'm Australian. Not, I'm British. We're not used to the sun. Back home we have lots of grey and rain and it's just miserable. So yeah, here I try and spend as much time in the sun as possible. So yeah, more tanned than any British person I've ever met.
I was going to say, yeah, if someone says I'm from Britain, I'm like, okay, well, you need to have a full sunsuit because you are going to fry.
Right.
So what kind of kayaks do you use?
So we use lifestyle kayaks. Currently, I've got like 3 different types that I'm trying out. We've only been on the water for 5 weeks, so there's a couple I'm really kind of testing, if you like. But they're ocean kayaks, which aren't necessary on the water, but they're a little bit more stable. They're more comfortable for the guests. But yeah, they're just lifestyle kayaks. Singles, tandems. I did try some of the shorter ones, so 8 feet really is as short as you're going to get on a kayak, just to be able to make it a little bit easier to get through the channels. But I'm not a huge fan of them, so I think I'll stick with the 10 feet. But we'll see how it goes.
The 8-footers are good for maneuver really quickly.
Are, yeah, exactly.
The longer ones are they're more comfortable too.
Yes, yeah, they're more stable. Yeah.
Okay, so if I want to book, best thing to go on your website?
Just go on the website. You can call me.
I'm going to call you now that you said I can call you.
You can. The problem with calling, well, it's not a problem. But generally, people would rather put in their card details online than give them to a person. So a lot of the time, people will call me and try and book, and then I'll say, hey, do you want to can I take your card details, or you can do this online? And they're like, oh, actually, we'll just go
Do it
and do it
online.
online. Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit more secure for the guest.
Okay, all right.
Now, what's your background? I mean, this is an eco tour. You're really knowledgeable on what you know, and you have a passion for it. So what's your background to it?
Yeah, so funnily enough, my background is actually sales back home, but I've spent the last 6 years, I think, in the States teaching environmental education. So I also work for an organization called Nature's Classroom Institute. And I used to teach a lot. I don't anymore. I kind of sell the programs to the schools, but we do overnight educational field trips. The schools come to us for 3 days, 2 nights, and we basically have the students outside, which is so important to have middle schoolers outside connecting to nature. But yeah, so that's what I've done for the last 6 years. Now I get to work with adults and families, which is cool. It's interesting because I've had to dumb myself down a little bit, because the students will kind of follow things a little bit easier than maybe somebody that has disconnected themselves for an extended period of time from nature. And we know that middle schoolers, they get taught so much in classrooms, and by the time we leave school, we forget it all pretty quickly, which is amazing. So it's really cool to connect teenagers to the wildlife, but when we do it with families, it's a lot more fun, because once they've spent some time with us, the amount of times people have said to me, cool, now we're going to go and buy a kayak, which is job done as far as I'm concerned. Like, get people outside, get families enjoying the wildlife. Certainly in Florida, I think the Floridians, a lot of them do appreciate where they are, but sometimes I've talked to Floridians and they really don't know that this is like a world-class destination for fish, for wildlife, for birds. It's so amazing here.
All the time.
Exactly. There's so much to do. So to get people outside kind of enjoying the wildlife. Anclote River, people know it, people drive over it. They don't necessarily know what is there. It's kind of this like secret garden, if you like, this wonderland that people don't necessarily get to explore. But it's so close to the sponge docks and Tarpon Springs. It's so easy to just be on the water.
Yeah, and now you're located just east of the bridge.
Yes.
You're not quite on the sponge docks. You're just kind of east of the bridge versus west of the bridge.
Exactly, yeah. So there's a bar there called the Bridge Lounge, and we're basically there. It's been derelict for like 20 years. I'm led to believe I've not been here for 20 years, but I've been told. So it's a really good use of the land. So yeah, we're kind of in the sponge docks, but we're not on the sponge docks. We're in that area. You could walk to us from the sponge docks. It's basically just across the road there.
That is absolutely phenomenal. All right, well, once again, let's show his information where to get a hold of River Wild Kayaking. Is that what, riverwildkayaking.com?
Riverwildkayaking.com, yeah.
.com. You got to sing it.
.com.
Yeah, just make everything. And hey, look, so I'm thinking like,
I think we need to leave now and just head out to the river.
dude, I am all in.
We're in? All
Yeah,
right.
because I have a long weekend.
That's literally what I'm doing. I have a tour in a minute, so I'm going to do that. So you're welcome to come along.
Well,
Yeah.
we appreciate you being on the show today,
Yeah.
and like I say, we're glad to have you as a new member of the chamber.
Pleasure. Thank
Yeah,
you.
congratulations. Yeah,
Thank you.
You joined a great. You joined a great.
I
chamber.
think so. It's a great place to be. Really excited to be here. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, so stick around. We got more great guests coming up. We'll be right back after these messages. Hey everybody, now we're back and we're going to talk some scary stuff.
Yeah. Did you know that Clearwater is haunted?
Yes.
You did.
I want to be careful how I answer that question.
Yeah.
Because there's zombies that walk around too. But I'm just saying, yes, I know it's definitely haunted.
Oh, man,
This
I
is
did
Mike Helmstettr from the Jolley Trolley. You are the CEO, correct?
Yes, I am.
And so he was on last week's chamber. And I'll tell you, we went and we met with him. We went over and we went up for one of the tours. Awesome tour.
Yeah, great tour.
So I'm an audio guy, right? This is my world. I live in this world. What blew me away is the fact that it is, during the tour, it's GPS tracked.
Yeah, that was amazing. You told me about that. That it's automatically cues with it.
Who came up with that idea, Mike?
I think it was some of the ghosts on the tour.
So let's talk about what really got you started into the paranormal tour.
Well, the fact that this, Clearwater Beach may be a little bit underserved in some family activities and different, things to do. For 20 years, I had vacationed out here in Clearwater Beach with my family when my kids were young from back in Chicago for many, many years. I just loved the area, loved all there was to do. I just thought that there needed to be a little bit more to do. So we started working back in December on bringing a few different tours into our area. And to find how deep some of these stories go throughout history is beyond amazing here. We get back to the 1500s here with some of these discoveries. And, we've come across things, from the railroads, from plants, to these hospital systems. I mean, they all came from right here. Even like concentrated orange juice.
Right.
And things that were built that actually, today is why our Marine Corps is even still around, from the alligator. It's just, there's so much incredible, fascinating history. But then when we started looking more into the history, we started to realize that the dead had more to say than the living. So to hear them, we had to go see them.
Right.
And that's exactly what the first tour was all about, is we bring you to where the ghosts are. The only thing is, we ask you not to feed the ghost.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I was planning on that.
I was going to go back just for myself and my wife and go, here, Mr. Ghost, look what I got.
And keep your hands and feet in the attraction at all times, is all I can say.
They will pull you out.
We go to some really, really haunted places. And, I guess it's our ability to believe in what it is, what we see. But when I share this next story with you here, which came out the day after the tour had already started, from a lady I had never even met before. This was last week on Friday, or this was Monday this week, I'm sorry. Friday I got the invitation to go, so I went there. And of all people, I sit right next to a lady who's a family attorney practicing law right next to the cemetery. I hand her, one of our brochures. She sees the cemetery we're going to, and she says, "Oh my God!" She says, "I know that's haunted because I've been working next door for 30 years." And we leave the back door locked, but we hear it open. We have a bell on it. You hear it ding. We hear the footprints of them walking by. We hear them sitting down, but there's nobody there. And this has gone on for years. So she rented out one of her office spaces to another lady, Trist was her name, and she sat like 4 rows back. So I spoke to her about the story, and exact same story here. And I guess if we can't believe the attorneys of the world, well, then who can?
Yeah, right, exactly.
So she had a friend from Manatee County. She brought in that was a card reader and a medium.
Right.
And she spent, the day, the night, or whatever. It happened while she was there. So she then channeled this and said that this, first of all, was many spirits in there, but the main one that you're seeing is Gertrude. And then when I showed her that card a little bit more thorough, there's one tombstone on this card, and that tombstone's name is Gertrude.
Oh, man.
She nearly
chills
fell
up my
to her
spine. I don't know about
knees.
you.
That is awesome.
And the whole reason why, we started this was we wanted to take half the proceeds and put it to getting a tombstone for Gertrude.
Right.
And Gertrude's story was Back in 1953, there was the worst tragedy that happened in Pinellas County of loss of life, 32 people dying that day, into a nursing home fire. And Gertrude, well, she was an orphan out of Michigan, so she didn't have family or anything. And when she died, she's been buried there at that cemetery for 70 years, no tombstone. Well, now to find out that she's been going in, knocking on the door at the family law practice place right next to it for the same amount of time.
Right.
It sounds like she had some unfinished business.
Yeah.
So after Tampa Times wrote the newspaper article, next day a guy calls from Tombstone Company, donates it. Thursday we raised the money now for all the permits and everything, so now it can actually go in and be installed. So if anything, even though we're doing a ghost busting tour, we now may be one ghost short.
Oh, no. Well, hopefully she'll just stick around to show off her new tombstone.
That's right.
She might get a picture of her going,
Right, maybe you get a selfie with
thanks,
it.
appreciate it.
It's going to have a QR code actually on the tombstone
Keep giving
now.
it. Yeah.
Today's new technology, which is what actually was amazing on how we were able to put that entire adventure together.
Right.
You know, there's so many great tour guides that are out there that do a wonderful job, you know, but every day, every time you get a different experience, you know, from these things. And when we brought in the actual museum of like Clearwater and Dunedin, we had true facts, you know. So when these ghost stories come around, these aren't hearsay. I mean, they've been for years and years. They've lived the test of time.
So they're based on history that is right here.
And you know, some of that history is lost because I'd forgotten about the part of the Clearwater that burned down because of the train. I'd heard about it and I knew it happened, but until you get on the tour and you listen, and I'm like, well, I did not know that. And then you forget about all the important people that lived in Clearwater that had started stuff in, you know, started businesses like Morton Plant. You know, you're like, oh, that's really cool, man. You know, and then we were at the Historical Society. We had two of our mediums go up and went upstairs and then come back down. I'm like, okay, not going back up there. I'm like, why? They're like, because there's something up there, and it's the judge, right? So I'm like, really? You're that scared? He goes, yeah, it did not feel good.
Wow.
And I'm like, never knew he's not mean or anything like that, but they're like, oh, it's really uncomfortable up there. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I don't care. So,
Cool.
I like it.
Well, this tour, you know the Jolley Trolley. It's about an hour long in Clearwater, but you also have another tour that's coming out as well, right?
Yeah, we've got a couple more here, but you know, our next one's going to be more of our Histories and Mysteries sightseeing adventure here. But then we also have the other northbound haunted tour that we're going to have coming through Dunedin. Now, that one we started work at the same time, and we've got so many incredible facts that we're sharing with you. Well, during the time when we were at the Dunedin Cemetery, not only is a biggest coyote that you'll ever see part of the tour, which we got him on payroll now, so you're safe if he comes up. But he's been there every time we go there. And then we catch wind here from finding out all of these stories that there's a Confederate soldier here that still protects that cemetery. So we're getting all that information right now on him. There's a baby graveyard which has got a lot of, it seems like, moving pieces floating around that area right now. We're getting together some of those stories. We're going to have them completed in the next few weeks. And we're going to get that out. Now, I'm not saying that Tarpon's haunted. It's not me. But we'll let the ghosts and stuff tell you for the stories that when we're coming up there next, we are going full out ghost busting.
I've been, you know, I lived in Tarpon for almost 20 years, and there's paranormal all over Tarpon Springs.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people, and they tell me, you know, their businesses, their homes, they're all over.
Yeah. At these cemeteries we go to, we talk to the people that have worked there for years, that have taken care of it, and we hear their stories. Some of them they'll tell us on the record, some off the record. Here. But I do have to say they have all pointed to one cemetery for if you really want like an abundant amount of ghosts, kind of like, you know, when Shark Week's out there and you're going out Shark Alley and stuff, like you know that they're there. Well, Rose Cemetery, we have no question that that were there. Matter of fact, while we were sitting in Vinny's office out in Dunedin, he was working on right down the street here, actually just outside of Tarpon in Keystone. Big house, like a mansion, and actually found the whole story behind it on how those properties were purchased at that point for like $10 a month for 10 acres. With $10 down, and it was like a 5-year deal. And if you wanted 20 acres, it was $20. I mean, like you couldn't, I mean, obviously it attracted a lot of people. Well, the only thing is that land wasn't clean. That land was sitting on Indian burial grounds. So the lady that lived there had been so terrified now that every day that, I mean, like the furniture in her house was moving. And, I mean, so we were going to go up there, but we all think that was a little bit, we didn't know how those ghosts were going to behave.
Right.
We know it rose.
The unexpected on the trolley.
Right, we don't want to bring you into danger. This is a family activity. Last thing we're going to do is allow children to be snatched from this trolley tour.
Right.
We are going to see the I'm not saying the Casper of the fun goes.
Right.
We're going to bring them all out though here, but we're going to stay away from the more violent ones for everybody's sake.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, yeah.
So is this tour going to be year-round, or is it going to be just seasonal? Or
That tour goes out every single night. We're doing 3 times on the weekends right now. We've started here all week. We've had no less than nearly a dozen people on each of the trolleys, and we've been selling out on a couple of these coming up. So there's a lot of people that have actually so far enjoyed it, written some really good articles about it. And it's not like the scary, we're going to put you out in this dark area. This is a great story that was written by an author named Joshua Ginsberg that has spent his life researching both ghost and also the area. Written 4 books out here like Secret Tampa, Scavenger Tampa, and really was able to zone in. So when we worked with the museum of getting him the actual true hard facts and then let him investigate it a little bit more and put the stuff that he has found out, and then we knock on whatever doors we have to. I mean, it's just been a combination for just a mystical little adventure.
So, look, if you guys are wanting to go, look right in front of you. Right there is the QR code. You can actually pop that, and we can always send them over to the website as well. Stick around, man. I got Russ. We're going to talk to this dude right here and talk about what's going on in the Tarpon Chamber of Commerce, because you guys you're loaded.
Yeah, there's always something going on at the Tarpon Chamber.
Okay.
We got ribbon cuttings and networking events, but we got something special to talk about here.
There we go. So stick around. We'll be right back after these messages, because you don't want to miss Russ. We'll be right back. Hey, we're back, and you know what? We've saved the best for last. We got Russ from the Tarpon Springs Chamber of Commerce. Dude, great lineup today.
Had a great guest.
Yeah, everybody was right on. We even one got called out, and it sucks because he was another one I really wanted to talk to. So, what's going on in the chamber?
Oh my gosh.
The Tarpon Springs Chamber of Commerce.
As you know, we're always very busy.
Yes,
We've
we are.
always got things going on. We've got networking events, luncheons, after hours events, all these types of things for, especially ribbon cuttings. We had 8 ribbon cuttings alone just in June.
Right.
It was a lot, and we got more coming up. But one of the biggest things that we are talking about right now is our Greece trip. And I'm not talking about a grease trap. I'm talking about a grease trip.
So I was talking to Jean about this, and she is super excited. Actually, I'm super excited. Unfortunately, right in the middle of when I can't go. So
Yeah, I'm hoping that I might be able to even go on this. It's one of my bucket list items. And if it's
Really?
a bucket list item that you have ever wanted to go on Greece, this is your opportunity to experience the trip of a lifetime.
Yeah.
I've talked to people on this. The pricing on this is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
This trip, it's 9 days. 9 days, 4-star accommodations, round-trip airfare from Tampa International Airport to Greece, 4 stops, Athens, Mykonos, Santorini, and I'm going to say this, Peloponnese. I believe I'm saying that correctly. All these places along the way, and you also include breakfast and lunch with that, and your dinner's on your own, and even a few tours in there as well that they're going to take you on. All of this for $3,399 per person, double occupancy.
Right.
I mean, this is a phenomenal trip. I asked a friend of mine actually who does a lot of traveling. I said, how much do you think you would pay for something like that? She said, easily $8,000-9,000
Per person.
per person, easily. This one, less than $3,400.
That is killer.
Right.
Well, it's is that with taxes and everything? The whole.
And we're still working on that part of it to get those answers
So
to
it could potentially be 4,000.
Yeah,
which is still
it's phenomenal.
right.
Scratch this off your bucket list.
Yeah.
Okay, go to Greece, experience it. We're a Greek town. This is a great way to immerse yourself in the culture in Greece. Like I say, it's one of my things I've been wanting to do for a long, long time. So I'm looking forward to see if I can pan this out and make it happen because I want to go. I studied art when I was in college, and so I want to see this artwork firsthand. I want to see all these ancient ruins. I love that type of
So
stuff.
if you drive through Tarpon Springs and then he comes up and says, "Clean your windshield, Mister, clean your windshield,"
right.
he's trying to
Only a
raise
couple
money
bucks.
for going to Greece. I get
That's
it.
right. I'm going to work it. I'm working this to the best I
Right.
can. Now, we have something coming up. Jean is actually going on a trip to kind of experience it first. And then she's going to come back on September 12th, and there's going to be a get-together at the Chamber of Commerce to talk about it. It's an orientation, if you will.
Right.
So if you are interested in it, contact the Chamber of Commerce. We'll get you signed up for that list, and we'll send you information on it. Just send us your call us, and we'll put your email on the list. We'll send you the information. But it's going to be 5 to 6:30 on Monday, September 12th. Jean will be fresh right off the trip from Greece, so she's going to be talking about it perfectly right off her tip of her tongue. But you're going to come back and you're going to hear all the stories that she's had from it, and then you're going to want to experience it. Now, this is March 25th through April 2nd, 2023. Now, you are going to want to take this trip for sure. So make sure you reserve that time, put it aside. If we get enough people on this trip, they're actually going to put together a bus from Tarpon Springs, so you won't even have to travel to the airport. They're going to pick you up in Tarpon Springs and take you to the airport for that price.
Hey, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great trip.
You start drinking then.
Yeah, exactly. Start the
On a
happy
bus.
hour right
You start drinking on a bus. Get to the airport. You been drinking? No, I'm fine. We're good. Uso for everybody.
Uso for everybody. Right. But we know when you come back, you're going to be yelling "Opa" all the time.
Opa. Do they really yell Opa over
I
there?
don't know. I haven't been to Greece.
You're gonna
We're
find out, aren't you? You're gonna find out.
I'm going to find out first.
You're going to drop a plate just to see. Remember, and then the guy goes, he doesn't say Opa, he goes, "Hey, you got to pay for that." You're like, Tarpon.
But one of the
Spoiled
things I
me.
would experience, I mean, we have a lot of Greek restaurants in our town and love them. We have some fantastic chamber members, the Greek restaurants. But to experience it in Greece, that you just got to go there and have all the food, try everything you can, go on all the trips. One of the things I love to do, I actually love going on a bike tour because that's what I do for a living too. And I want to go and take a bike tour around Greece. This has been on my list too. Not only going to Greece, but then take a bike tour while I'm there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, those the European countries, they're all big bikers anyway.
Right.
America is still not truly grasped the idea of bike tours and bikes and stuff
The
like that.
bicycles, right. So I want to go there. And you're going to have time like that to have some free time to explore on your own. And so you'll be able to go on and take a little kind of side trips and tours and go shopping or whatever. But that's the kind of things that I want to do is you'll be able to explore a little bit on my own and still have all these other side tours that they've got scheduled that you can go on. And it's going to be a great time.
Okay. Very good. So what else? I know this is exciting, but I know there's more going on in the Tarpon Springs.
Let's see. We got one thing that's coming up is our luncheon, which is coming up on August 8th. August 8th luncheon will be at IHOP here in Tarpon Springs. And we'll have a guest speaker that day. We're still kind of finalizing those details. But we're going to have some guest speaker for that one. We got the luncheon. We have our Good Morning Tarpon, which is always the first Wednesday of the month. We have Bacon and Business Bits at Johnny Grits, which comes up on the third Wednesday of the month. So those are those little networking events that we have. Of course, we have our after hours events. We're just securing all those different events. We got some great things coming up, and people love to come to this stuff. And the crowds are growing bigger and bigger. Oh my gosh. We have, typically right now at a ribbon cutting, we have every bit of about 30 people plus at these ribbon cuttings. Whoa. So it's a lot. I mean, the city is great to be partnering with this, and that they come out and the city officials are there. We work together and have a great ribbon cutting. We shoot some video for it, and everybody loves it. Have a great time.
Cool.
So there's lots going on.
Is the chamber's growing, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. I don't know if Gene's talked to you about this before.
No.
But as of today, as we're shooting this, we've had 65 new members since the 1st of January.
Whoa.
65. That's a lot.
And Austin, the kid that was on her, is a brand new one,
Brand new member, right? Brand new member. Walked into our office, said, hey, where do I sign? He's been a great member ever since, and we love working with him. Like I said, excited to go on his tour as well. But that's what we have chamber members, probably 2 to 3 a week.
Right.
That are coming through the door and just saying, hey, we need to be involved.
Right.
And then how can I be involved? And that was something I grew up with when I was in high school. Our principal taught us from the get-go, get involved.
Yep.
Get involved with your community. And a great way to do it is with the chamber.
Right.
You can volunteer. You can, you'll be part of the action with your business, whatever that is, but you can come and enjoy, network. And I would say network is building relationships. Building relationships with like-minded individuals. So when you have those building over those relationships, you be not only like-minded, you also become friends.
Yes.
And when you become friends, you want to do business with your friends. And that is what the chamber is all about, is doing business with your friends.
Right.
Because really, who do you trust?
Yeah.
You trust your family and you trust your friends.
That's true.
And sometimes they can be family, depending on what it is.
Probably friends. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, maybe friends first. But definitely, you want to be involved with your community, see what's going on, being involved with the businesses, but also, just hanging out with your friends sometimes can be helpful as well.
Right.
Because it'll drive business to you. So.
Well, it's we and Gene and I talk about this all the time. All these people that come in and go, "I was a chamber member and I didn't get anything out of it," and I'm like, "What'd you put into it?" Because it just doesn't happen. And they're always like, they always stumble because now they don't know what to say. And I'm like, see, there's why you didn't get anything out of it. You didn't get involved.
Exactly. And there's no reason you don't know about what's going on, because we send out emails daily about what's happening. You get invitations to every event, even of community events. You get those invitations as well. So I get people that are contacting me saying, yeah, we got about 6 emails from you today. We know what's going on. Yeah. We know you're busy.
Right.
And that typically happens a lot. Because we have ribbon cuttings, we have the networking events. We're active.
Right.
We're really active.
I do like the fact that you guys, this chamber is, and this is different from a lot of, because we have, Safety Harbor, we have Palm Harbor, we have, we have the Upper Tampa Bay, we have, Newport, we have all these, and everybody has a main street. Tarpon's different because we have 2 main streets. We have Main Street, which is Tarpon Ave, and then we have Dodecanesis, which is another main street. And you guys literally get along with both. Right. And you really do know what's going on in that world. So every time someone says, well, what's going on in Tarpon? Matter of fact, I rented out a camper, one of my campers this week, past week, and I told them, go down to Tarpon. And they're like, well, what's there? I said, well, they have 2 main streets. And they just kind of looked at me like I had 2 heads. I said, yes, we have the downtown Main Street, and then we have the Greek, the Dodecanesis. I said, and you need to spend the day there so you can kind of get both. Right. And get a little bit of...
And a lot of people think Dodecanesis is the main street. That's it.
I know.
They think that's all there is. So they don't realize that our downtown area actually has a lot of small shops and restaurants. The Pinellas biking trail, walking trail is there. And so you can kind of meander around all of the main street there on Tarpon Avenue and see all kinds of different things. There's a lot of new shops that are even still coming in.
Right.
And a lot of different restaurants that are starting to pop up as well. So there's more coming to Tarpon Springs. And that's why we're seeing this growth. Yeah. Gene and I have had this vision for the last year of we want to create an enthusiasm that drives people here. And it's really starting to pay off. Certainly you see it in the numbers at 65 new members. And I have people that I'm still talking to that are going to be joining soon. So that number is going to grow. we venture we will probably be over 100 new members this year alone.
Nice.
And that should tell you a lot about the community,
Right.
the business community, that we are a growing community that is active and very involved in what we're doing, and just a great place to be.
Yeah.
You know, you can come down the streets and you can say hi to everybody and they'll say it back.
Yep.
You know?
They will.
That's the fun thing. There's so much to do. Like we've had, you know, River Wild, we've had the Clearwater Jolley Trolley. There's so much to do. Whether you want to be outdoors and active, or whether you want to just be relaxed and just sit on a boat or sit down and have some ouzo at a restaurant or something.
And good
You can-
food.
Oh my gosh.
It would take you a month to, if you get every weekend a month, if not more, to be able to get into a restaurant that's in Tarpon.
Right.
And they're
Probably once a day for the next month.
Yeah. I have my favorites because,
Sure.
again, I was there for almost 20 years. So
Sure.
I have my favorites. But, you know, we came down to Tarpon a couple of weeks ago and we went to Hours Creole. So,
yeah.
that's a great place. And then we went to Copenhagen and had some dessert, right? So
Right. And then you get into the Orange Cycle Creamery, grab some more dessert. You know,
their ice cream's so good.
And the Taste of Japan's been talked about lately on social media. Shaka's been talked about on social media. All of them have great food. And I love people when they come into the chamber office, they say, where's a great place to eat? Hang on, we're going to be a while. Yeah. Because
You got time?
We're going to grab the brochure, we're going to go through this, and I'm going to tell you which ones to go to. Now let me
Right.
tell you which ones to go to. I'm going to tell you what's the best dish they have on their menu.
Right.
Because I've tried a lot of these.
And I tell everybody that's going to Tarpon to stop in the chamber, either in the chamber main office or down on the docks, and get a map.
Yep.
Because that will give you an idea of where you're going to try to.
You'll see both main streets.
Both. You will, actually. And so, and when they do, they're like, I didn't realize how much there was to do in Tarpon Springs.
Right. Yeah, we get a lot of people asking about beaches and everything else, but there's tons of stuff to do.
Yeah. 2 beaches in Tarpon.
Right. Two beaches, 2 main streets.
That's right.
2 hosts.
And there you go. So, hey, thanks for watching today, everybody. We do appreciate it. This has been My Chamber TV, and it's not mine, it's our Chamber TV.
That's right.
But it's the Tarpon Springs edition. Share this with your friends so that way if they need to know about Tarpon Springs and some of the great businesses in there, we'll see everybody next week on My Chamber TV.
See ya.